You're tuned in to Voiced Thoughts Talk Show and Podcast, a forum where we discuss and explore society-based topics while advocating and providing information and resources to the community through an unscripted, unfiltered, and authentic approach. Listen on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and Apple Music. Watch us on YouTube. Join our Facebook group. Follow us on social media, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook at Voiced Thoughts Talk Show and Podcast, your society-based channel. Welcome to another episode of Voiced Thoughts Talk Show and Podcast. I'm your host, and my name is Danette Mahabeer-Turner, Mrs. Kentucky Petite USA 2025. I am the appointed Mrs. Kentucky Petite USA 2025 to represent the entire state of Kentucky in the national pageant in July in Chicago, Illinois, and I'm super honored to be the representative for this state. Before we get into today's episode, I want to take the time out to highlight our sponsors that make this episode possible. Our title sponsor, Goodwill Opportunity Center, located at 1601 Broadway Street, Paducah, Kentucky. Goodwill Opportunity Center helps individuals remove barriers to self-sufficiency, enabling their clients to overcome challenges and achieve their goals through support that's personalized to the client's needs. So visit them again at 1601 Broadway Street, Paducah, Kentucky. Our episode sponsor, Paducah Diversity Advocacy Board, PDAB. And of course, they have a subdivision now, PDAB Youth. PDAB promotes the ethical, diverse, and equitable inclusion of marginalized people within the Purchase area community. Follow them on Facebook at Paducah Diversity Advocacy Board, where you can find Voice Thoughts Talk Show and Podcast. You can watch us on YouTube, listen on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and Apple Music. Join our Facebook group, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Voice Thoughts Talk Show and Podcast. Today's episode 4, and the topic today, youth empowerment. My guest is none other than Gabriella Redfield. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
I am so happy to have you.
I'm so happy to be here.
You're one of my younger guests. My daughter, Sahila London, was one of my guests in season 1. And she was at the time 6 years old, and the topic was anti-bullying. So, you know, I love to have young people on the show, and today's topic being youth empowerment. We have a lot of questions lined up for you that I know you're going to do very well, and I'm super honored to have you next to me again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for being here. So tell us a little bit about yourself and what inspired you to get involved in leadership at such a young age.
So at a young age, I was in a leadership household. Both of my parents, they were CEOs. I was constantly around like leadership. One thing that really has gotten me far is my mom always involved me in organizations and always, taught me all these skills from young, like just shaking hands, whether it's that or having conversations with people and just
bringing you alongside her.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So you are the president of a subdivision of the PDAB, right? So PDAB, I'm a board member as well, and so you are the president for the PDAB Youth Group.
Yes.
Tell me, when did the PDAB Youth Group begin? Why was it started? And like, how did you become the president?
So it started around January. I had talked to Dorothea because I was wanting a group where youth can have their voices heard and they can have a kind of like a safe place.
Nice.
Something where they can build these leadership skills and reach out, meet community members and get involved. Because I noticed growing up, not everybody got these opportunities that I did to get involved with the community.
That is true.
And I always looked at it and I was so upset. I want everybody to have the same equal opportunity.
Wow. So this group was started in January of 2025.
Yes, ma'am.
And so how did you become the president? Just because you pitched the idea? You pitched the idea to Dorothea?
I think it was something like that.
Okay. Well, I mean, that was a leadership initiative right there. So kudos to you for wanting to see a change, right?
Thank you so much.
And of course, you told us the why, why you wanted such a group, because there was something that you wanted to be available to other youths like yourself, and so I love that because, the next generation is truly the future. And so what are some upcoming projects for the PDAB youth group?
So we're actually looking at the South Side right now, and around the South Side area, it is considered a food desert because there are some areas that are around 20 miles away from a grocery store or fresh food. And that is a problem because people who are immobile, they can't get access to that as easily. So we were wanting to build a community garden over there so that people can have access, and it also builds community. It's going to be very community oriented. We're going to get our youth involved, as in maybe reaching out for volunteer work from the youth, as well as getting different organizations to get involved.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. So with that said, what are some of the short-term and then the long-term goals for the PDAB youth group?
I would say a short-term goal would be getting more community involvement, of course, as well as getting more youth members to sign up and be a part of our organization.
Okay.
And then for long-term, I would say kind of just building up from where we are. And on our projects that we have, like the community garden, I know that we have another project that we're thinking about, and it is the summer for literacy. We are wanting to partner with some programs like YMCA and for the young kids, maybe read books or have just like a few days a week where we come in and we volunteer, we read with the kids to improve literacy rates.
Okay, I love that. Now, you mentioned that the initiative right now for short-term goal is to have more youth becoming interested in joining. How do they join? Like, do they have to go through a particular application process? What does that look like? Or who do they need to reach out to?
So actually, I have a QR code. Do you know if you can link that on there?
Oh, absolutely. So we will put that QR code on the screen. We'll put it, on there. So you'll send that to me. Yes.
So we have a QR code that leads to a survey where you can put your contact information, and then we'll reach out to anybody who would like to join or is interested from there.
Okay. And is there like an age group for the youth group?
We were thinking about from 8 years old up to 19, around there.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that. What impact would you say that the PDAB youth group has already had on our local community?
I would say that we definitely have a lot of people who are interested. We have grandparents, parents who attend our meeting, a lot of members from the community. I know we have, leaders from boards.
That's awesome.
Coming into our meetings and just talking with us and seeing what our ideas are. So right now I would say everybody is excited to see what we're going to do.
I love it. What has been the most rewarding part of your personal journey? So as a young leader, now we're getting into, we've gotten into PDAB youth group, we've gotten into, why you were the president, but now just you as an individual, like what has been the most rewarding part of your leadership journey?
I think to the people who I have talked to and I've gotten involved in the things that I'm in, just watching them grow and seeing how they progress from somebody who starts off as really shy, just seeing them become a leader and seeing them have ideas and try to come up with a solution to a problem, things like that. Just watching the way that everybody kind of like evolves their confidence, it grows. Is just so rewarding to me.
That is amazing. Wow, you're doing such a great job. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
And I hope you keep that up. Yes. And I know this is a big step. I'm sure this is probably your first podcast talking about, this topic or, being on a podcast. And this podcast is available on so many different platforms. And it's something that, you can add to whether a website or Facebook page so that, those who are wanting to be a part of it, whether it's another youth or another organization or someone in our community, they can go back and watch this video and be informed. So thank you for taking the time to do this. All right, we're going to keep it going. So the topic today is youth empowerment. So here's my question to you. What does youth empowerment mean to you personally?
I think it's giving our youth a voice and a place to be themselves and kind of, like I was saying, give them confidence, give them a place where they can, work on so they can become the adult and have that confidence that they need in their adulthood.
I love that. Love that. Okay, so why do you think it's important for young people to have a voice in their community?
I think having voices really gives you kind of a like, say you had an idea, there is going to be tons of people who can add on to that and make it so much better. Having youth having tons of voices, just having that kind of I'm trying to think of the word, I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
Having all the youth use their voices kind of gives you just kind of like a diverse
I love that, yes.
perspective on everything. Having those thoughts, like say there's somebody who's never talked before, if you talk with them and really get to know what they think, it is amazing.
There's so many ideas that you can, I always believe that I can learn something from someone younger than myself, and a lot of my friends that are older than me have learned so much from me. And so, as you mentioned, it's a diverse, I love that,
Yes.
it comes back to diverse perspectives, making sure that no one is excluded and everyone is included in the decisions that are being made in our community. So I love that. I love that. And I was recently on a panel with our Paducah Chamber of Commerce. And what I admire about what they did, it was the Empower Her conference, right? It's a ladies' conference. But the fact that they decided to put 4 panelists and 4 different age range. We had like a teenager on there that was coming out of high school, going into college. Then I'm in my 30s, and then someone that was, in their 40s or 50s, and then, someone that has retired. And I feel like just getting those different age ranges of perspective and the diversity of that was just phenomenal. So I really love your answer to that question. Okay, so you mentioned your mom and dad, but are there anyone else, mentors, peers, or public figures that you would say inspired you on this journey of leadership?
I mean, honestly, it really is my mom. My mom came from Puerto Rico, not knowing that much English, and worked her way up to CEO. And
that is amazing.
That really inspires me, as well as my ancestors. They have came from Spain to Puerto Rico for better opportunities, things like that. Just kind of reflecting back on that, it's very inspiring, very
motivating. Yeah.
Yes.
That is definitely something to use as your why, right? What advice would you give to a young person who wants to make a difference but doesn't know where to start?
I would say definitely reaching out and connecting with people in your community, because you can get so far just with one person, and you'll never be prepared for the amount of connections that you'll make through one person. Seriously.
I love that. Now, we're down to our final question. I can't believe it. But I hope that if you have been listening or watching this particular episode with the topic youth empowerment, that you've gained some insights from Gabriella and the things that Paducah Diversity Advocacy Board, the youth division, is doing in our local community. And so if you're out there and you've listened to this or watched this episode and you want to get involved and you want to partner, definitely click that QR code, or scan that QR code rather. We'll put it on our Facebook pages as well, because we're here to support the youth. And I'm so grateful that your bravery, for being the president and pitching such a great idea to the PDAB, to include the youth, and creating this subdivision of the PDAB to the PDAB youth group is such an amazing thing. I'm so proud of you, and I'm sure your parents are proud of you, and just everybody that knows you. So, and you are inspiring other youths as well. Here's my last question to you, though. If you had a microphone to speak, which you do today, and this is a podcast that could be listened to worldwide, right? you have a microphone to speak to youth all over the world. What's one message you'd want them to hear?
This one, it's definitely very important. Always ask questions. Always ask why. Ask, how, like if there's a problem, how can we fix it? How can we make something more efficient? Always ask questions.
I love that.
You will be surprised how much you can learn by just one question.
Wow, I love that. I love that piece of advice. Gabriella, thank you so much for being on the show today with me.
Thank you so much.
I enjoyed
for
our conversation. And so before we go, of course, want to take the time out again to highlight our sponsors. Our title sponsor, Goodwill Opportunity Center, located at 1601 Broadway Street, Paducah, Kentucky. Goodwill Opportunity Center helps individuals remove barriers to self-sufficiency, enabling their clients to overcome challenges and achieve their goals through support that is individualized to the client's needs. Our episode sponsor, PDAB, Paducah Diversity Advocacy Board, and of course the Youth Division. PDAB promotes the ethical, diverse, and equitable inclusion of marginalized people within the Purchase area community. So follow PDAB on Facebook for more information. And definitely, if you have a youth in your community or in your school or your organizations that you'd like to get connected with Gabriella and what they're doing with the PDAB youth group, definitely scan the QR code to sign up. Watch us on Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Music, Amazon Music. Join our Facebook group. Follow us on TikTok and Instagram. I have been your host. My name is Danette Mahabeer-Turner, and I'll see you on the next episode. God bless.
Bye.